For the first and only time in DKC history, the boss of a world makes itself known before the fight. King Zing shows up in the previous level, Rambi Rumble, to terrorize the player, chasing them out of his hive. Rambi and the Kongs escape by the skin of their teeth, and with the help of squawks, take the fight back to the king. This is part 26 of Overthinking Donkey Kong Country 2. We've got another DKC first with King Zing. This is the first boss fight where we play as an animal buddy. In fact, it's the only boss fight in DKC2 where we play as an animal buddy. There are two in DKC3, but it's gonna be a while before we get to that. So yeah, you start the level as Squawks. It's an interesting angle, but it's a good one. It's impossible not to compare King Zing to Queen Bee from Vine Valley. So having you switch to Squawks is a good way to make the King Zing fight unique from the get-go. The first phase isn't too different from Queen Bee, with King Zing zigzagging across the arena, but instead of a barrel, you hit his stinger with an egg. He flashes red, but doesn't bounce around after you like Queen Bee. He just continues on his set path and ramps up the speed. Every second hit sees him slowly plodding towards you while shooting off spikes like Puff Top. Once he's done both 3 times, so a total of 6 hits, King Zing explodes, turning into a regular red zinger with an entourage of yellow zingers around him. You take them out, then he's vulnerable. 3 hits and he's done. He's a bit of a motherfucker, King Zing, and for sure the hardest boss so far. But it's a fine boss battle. Not amazing, but it's fun. I've put way more thought into what King Zing might be than I think is rational to expect from a man in his mid-30s. But here we are. I've narrowed it all down to a couple possibilities. First, King Zing is king in name only, and is in fact actually the queen of this hive. I don't like this idea for a few reasons, but one upshot of this idea is it kind of explains why the zingers in DKC2 are different from the ones in DKC. If you look at the yellow zinger models from both games, you can see that the ones in DKC2 are sleeker and more wasp-like than their DKC counterparts. We can also factor in the colors, with DKC2 only having the yellow and red, vulnerable and invulnerable, as opposed to DKC's yellow, orange, green, and pink, distinguishing the different movement patterns. Another thing backing this is the sheer amount of hives on the island. Someone's got to make the bees that make the wax that oozes all over the foreground, right? The second possibility is King Zing is just an oversized drone, just like a freakishly large regular zinger. Queen Bee is his queen, like all the others, and now that she's gone, or just like hanging out on DK Island, the other zingers all gravitate around this guy who protects the hive. Explains why his name is King Zing. He's a king in that he's top dog, but he's still a zinger, so Zing. As for how he's as big as he is, well, it could have something to do with why the brambles are as big as they are, but we're a ways off from getting into that. I had more for this, but I forgot. Crazy Kremland is done, and we're well and truly over the hill now. Luckily for us, World 5 is an absolute banger. If you've seen the first Halloween special, then you know what's in store. But if not, get ready, because to me, Gloomy Gulch is one of the best worlds in the game. Until then, my friends.